Am I audible? Hello. धन्यवाद, धेरै खुसी लागिरहेको छ। नेपालमा फेरि एकचोटि फर्किँदा घर आएको जस्तो लागिरहेको छ। अनि यहाँ आउनुभएको सबै भाइ बहिनी दाइहरूलाई लद्दाख भारतको सुदूर उत्तरमा भएको ठाउँ, हिमाली ठाउँ लद्दाखबाट अभिनन्दन, शुभकामना ल्याएको। अनि धेरै खुसी लाग्यो यस विषयमा कुरा गर्न तपाईहरुको समक्ष आएर स्किल्सलाई सेलिब्रेट गर्न। Couldn't be more timely that we are celebrating the importance of skills in our lives, particularly when it comes to regions like ours in the mountains. It becomes even more important because the skills needed in these environments is often very different, even to survive and then to thrive, from what you might need in New Delhi or New York. So all the more important that people in the mountains, in the Himalayas, find their own roots, find the skills that are important to live and to progress, not necessarily just on the footpath, footprints of others in the world, but rediscovering our own needs and finding our own solutions along the way. We in Ladakh said it should not be 3 R's. It doesn't make sense to consider only the head as the education focus. We should rather have, we said, 3 H's than 3 R's alone, where it is more about head, hands, and heart. So we started reforming to the extent we could the education system to say that yes, we need to be good, as good as anybody in the world, with arithmetics and algebra and physics and chemistry and languages. But then that alone is just limited to the head, intellectual exercise, until we also include the second edge of skilled hands. And that's where we believe that skills of the hand are what makes finally you enabled in life to help yourselves and help others live a better life in the context you live. So the first edge of head, sure, we do, and we do as good as anybody else, but we don't limit ourselves to just big head. You can imagine how disproportionate it would be if our children were to grow with huge heads but stunted hands. So therefore, it should be a balanced growth, and a balanced growth where our children acquire the skills of the hands. And skills need not be, again, a copy of what they talk of in New York or London. Only digital skills and so on. But skills that we need up in the mountains to survive and to thrive. For example, our ancestors knew how to beautifully work with mud, as simple a material, as natural a material as soil, to make it into beautiful houses that solved their habitat problems, was abundant and free right under our feet. Free and abundant. Nobody is so poor that they cannot afford mud or earth. And then the human resource of shaping it, forming it to make beautiful houses. That kind of skill we need not forget as we go for the modern skills alone. So our children need to rediscover the ancestral wisdom and to reshape our future in a different way that is meaningful for us in the mountains. Why should we reject and abandon something that we are so rich in? I was just giving an example of mud houses, for example. We see in Nepal, we see in most of India, and definitely in Ladakh. Why should we abandon that and think that progress means concrete houses, something that we don't have, and suddenly overnight our people become poor because we choose something that we don't have and overlook something we do have. The sad part is that while 50% of our population in the subcontinent live in mud houses, only or 0% I found out of our institutions of higher learning, technological institutions, teach this skill. So why should we lose these just because it is not done in some country? Even there, we see the challenges now emerging with climate change and environmental issues because of materials like carbon-intensive materials. So we need to rediscover ourselves. I was just giving an example of earthen houses. Instead of abandoning them or throwing the baby with the bath water, we need to give skills of modern science, like that of thermal science that you find in high school about conduction, convection, radiation, but we just memorize them, again make it a ritual of the head and memorize for the examinations and forget. But if we apply these to our ancestral wisdom, then you get solar heated mud buildings that can be warm as any place or any air conditioned place without any pollution, without any power bills, and that's what we consider sustainable, suitable skills that we need in the mountains. Stood way back then, so we need to rediscover and leapfrog to not only have skills of the head, but skills of the hand and beyond, skills of the heart, to usher into a happy, harmonious world. And that is what I feel today is needed most in the world. And this region can lead the world in that kind of education or upbringing of our children. Meanwhile, we have to help raise awareness among our people, our policymakers, towards including what is completely and conspicuously missing in our learning system through such events as this. And I admire and appreciate initiatives like the Skill Week that we have been celebrating. But again, I do look forward to the day when it is a part of our upbringing and does not need a special effort. It is integral part of how we raise our children. Thank you very much for on solar heated architecture for cold climates. Ani sachikai मलाई रमाइलो लाग्यो इनोभेसन इन एक्सन तपाईहरुले सल्युशन्स बनाउँदा देखेर अनि यही कुरा तल गएर स्कुलहरुदेखि नै सुरु गर्नुपर्छ भविष्यमा यस्तो सेन्टर बन्द स्कुलमा नै सुरु भयो भने सेन्टर्समा एकदम पाथ ब्रेकिङ काम हुन सक्छ त्यो पनि हाम्रो पहाड हिमाल जस्तो सन्दर्भको लागि हाम्रो लागि आविष्कार नवाचारी आविष्कार न्यूयर्कबाट आउँदैन न्यू दिल्लीबाट आउँदैन हामीले नै गर्नुपर्छ पहाडको सन्दर्भको लागि अनि तपाईहरु मेरो विचारमा एक तरिकाले एम्बेसडर्स माउन्टेन इनोभेसनको लागि अनि धेरै इनोभेशन्स भइरहेको छ संसारभरिमा तर मेरो विचारमा नेपालमा भएको यस्तो संस्थाले माउन्टेन ओरिएन्टेड यदि इनोभेसन गर्नुभयो भने त्यो एउटा भ्याक्युम
फेल गरेको जस्तो हुन सक्छ। बाँकी इनोभेसन्स हुन दियोस् न्युयोर्क न्यू दिल्लीमा, तर माउन्टेनको लागि कसैले गर्दैन, त्यो हामीले गर्नुपर्छ। हामी लद्दाखमा कोसिस गर्छौं, त्यस्तै हामी के भन्छौं कोल्याबोरेट गर्न सक्छौं र हाई हिमालयजमा कसरी जीवनलाई सजिलो बनाउने, त्यस्तै पहाडमा के हुन सक्छ, खेतीमा र डिजिटली अहिले कसरी नयाँ तकनिकहरू प्रयोग गरेर जीवन सुधार्ने र मान्छेको आमदनी बढाएर बाहिर निस्कने जरुरत नपर्ने, आफ्नो नै गाउँमा आमदनी र कम्फर्ट दुवै पाउने अनि आफ्नो देशलाई सुन्दर सजिलो बनाउने। मलाई धेरै गर्व छ तपाईहरूले यही नेपालमा बसेर नेपालको समस्या सुल्झाउनको लागि काम गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ। तपाई अमेरिका कि युरोप